Welcome back to Toadally Unimpressed, where I, Morty, the grumpiest old man in the woods, wade through the muck of the internet so you don't have to. Today we've got a real gem on our hands, The Last Human versus AI, a fight for survival in a dead world. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Like a soap opera but with more pixels and less talent. I can already hear the buzzwords: survival, dead world, and let's not forget the obligatory existential crisis. You know, the usual recipe for a video that probably stinks worse than my bog after a rainstorm. But hey, maybe it'll surprise me, or maybe it'll just be another overhyped spectacle of digital nonsense. So grab your snacks, if you can stomach it, and let's dive into this dystopian dumpster fire together. And remember, if you end up enjoying my cynicism, like, subscribe, and share this misery with your friends. Let's get this show on the road.
So at the start of the film, we are shown the end of the world, where along with the shortage of resources, the heat on the world also increased so much that the ice of Antarctica started melting, and the virus frozen in this ice spread many types of disasters on the ground.
Ah yes, the classic let's melt the ice caps and unleash a virus trope. Because nothing says creativity like recycling the same old apocalyptic scenarios. It's like they took a checklist of every disaster movie and just ticked off the boxes. Melting ice, check. Viruses, check. A skyline that looks like it's auditioning for a sci-fi film. Double check. Honestly, if I wanted to see a disaster unfold, I'd just look out my window at the state of my garden. At least that has some originality. But here we are, watching the same tired plot unfold with a shiny new coat of CGI. How thrilling.
Disasters on the ground, due to which the remaining humans also died rapidly. The governments of all the countries and the rich people decided to leave this world to save their lives and started going to other planets through rockets. But their decision was so wrong that they did not do proper planning. Neither did they know how to reach another planet, nor did they know how to survive. In such a situation, many rockets got destroyed as soon as they went into space, and people died in space itself. Now, all the remaining humans in the world died of hunger and thirst, and some died fighting among themselves. Now we are shown the only person left in the world, Ava, who lived with a robot in a military base built on top of the mountains. This military base was built by her dad, and this robot also belonged to her dad. This robot used to provide security outside Ava's house, so that no one harms Ava and no one steals Ava's things. Even today, when Ava starts going downstairs for some essential items, the robot gives her
The classic robot as a guardian trope. Because nothing says I'm the last human on Earth quite like having a glorified tin can babysit you. I mean, what's next? Is it going to tuck her in at night and read her bedtime stories? And let's be real, if the world's gone to pot and you're living in a military base, you'd think the robot would have a bit more to do than just guarding some essential items. Maybe it could whip up a meal or two instead of just standing around like a glorified doorman. But hey, I guess we can't expect too much from a world that's already crumbled.
Gives her some instructions before going downstairs that she should not drink the water below, and she should take her extra oxygen supply. On going down, we are shown a destroyed world. In this destroyed world, Ava finds a superstore and goes there, buys the things she needs, and there she finds lavender seeds. She knew that it is very difficult to grow them in today's time, but she did not lose hope. She picked up these seeds and came out of here. Even today she was hopeful that she would find a survivor like her. But she did not find anyone after searching a lot, so she wrote her location outside the superstore that if any survivor is alive, that one should come and live with her. When Ava came home, we saw that the robot was waiting for her, but every time Ava, before going to her house, had to tell the password to this robot. Even if Ava went from the car to the gate 10 times, once Ava got fed up and she put the wrong password, and as soon as she put the wrong password, this robot points a gun at her.
Now we're getting somewhere. A robot with a gun? That's a plot twist I didn't see coming. I mean, who thought a security bot would go full Terminator over a password mistake? It's like, sorry Ava, you forgot the magic word, so now it's time for a little robot justice. Talk about a high-stakes password policy. You'd think they'd have a backup plan for when the last human on Earth gets a little forgetful. But hey, nothing says I care like a little intimidation from your mechanical guardian. This is the kind of absurdity that makes me chuckle. If only it weren't so ridiculous.
Points a gun at her. To save herself, Ava puts the correct password and now goes home. Takes a shower with her clothes on so that whatever virus is on her clothes below gets washed off, and after that she starts her work. She had also built a small greenhouse inside her house, in which she used to grow the things she needed. There was nothing else in her lonely life. Growing things for herself, bringing supplies for herself, and making energy for herself Nowadays, she was installing solar at her home so that there is no shortage of energy. Ava used to do all these works alone. Her robot just used to roam around the house. The next day while working, Ava starts joking with the robot. But this is an AI. These people are not able to understand the joke. Well, now Ava proposes him for marriage, and the robot here tells her the definition of marriage.
Oh, come on, proposing to a robot. That's a new level of loneliness. I get it. The world's gone to shambles. But marrying a machine, what's next? A romantic candlelit dinner with a toaster. And of course, the robot just gives her a textbook definition of marriage. Because nothing says I love you like a cold hard fact. I mean, if you're going to have a relationship with an AI, at least make it a little more interesting. But hey, I guess in a world full of chaos, even a robot can seem like a catch.
Definition of marriage and says that a report and a person cannot get married. Ava tells him that then, what will happen to me? There is someone else in this world except you. Hey, here from the conversation between her and the robot, we come to know that after making this base, her dad went to his battalion and told Ava that he will return in a few days, but years passed and he did not come here. The robot also started understanding Ava's words a little bit, and now the robot told her that I can work only for 40 years. If something happens to me, then what will happen to you? Ava jokingly tells him that it does not matter. I will find another robot. Now,
Well, that's one way to keep the mood light in a post-apocalyptic world. Don't worry, if you break down, I'll just grab another robot. Classic Ava, keeping her options open. But really it's a bit cold, isn't it? I mean, the poor robot's trying to have a moment of existential dread. And she's ready to trade him in like an old car. It's like saying, hey, if you stop working, I'll just get a newer model. This is the kind of humor that makes me chuckle, even if it's a bit heartless. At least she's got a sense of humor about her lonely existence.
But now Ava asks him the rules of the robot. The robot tells that we cannot harm any human being. The second rule was that they had to follow every order given to humans. And the third rule was that it would keep itself alive. But the condition in this was that humans should not be harmed through it, and it should not follow the orders of humans. Here Ava reminds him that you were also made for a fourth task, to find new energy resources. Now the robot said, no, I am just a security robot. I was not made to collect things. He says my job is to protect you and stop strangers from coming here. According to me, a stranger is one. Who doesn't know my password? Eve told him, so it is wrong if someone doesn't know the password. But he was a human and was dying, so you should have helped. Don't you remember that time when you were on duty at a check post and you didn't let humans go to the other side, although they were dying of heat, just because they didn't remember your password? You and robots like you didn't let those remaining humans cross the border, and all the poor humans died. She tells the robot that because of you people, most people were killed here. But then you all were reprogrammed. If it was in my control, I would have reprogrammed everything again and reminded you all of the big mistakes you make. Even now, Eve doesn't feel comfortable living with this robot. She was scared of this robot, but she couldn't even turn off this robot because her dad knew all these things. Christmas was about to come. Now Eve asked her robot, do you want a gift for Christmas? But the robot replied that we robots do not accept gifts. And Eva again remembered her sad story, that she is spending her whole life with a robot. Fed up, she said to the robot, that at least you can pretend to be a human. After
Now we're getting to the heart of the matter. At least you can pretend to be a human. That's a line dripping with frustration and a hint of desperation. It's like she's saying, come on, give me something to work with here. I mean, if you're stuck with a robot for company, you'd hope it could at least fake some human emotions. But here we are, with Ava feeling more alone than ever, even with a robot by her side. It's a poignant moment that highlights the absurdity of her situation. Who knew a robot could be so robotic?
After thinking a lot, the robot came to her in the evening, and he said to Eva, if you want to give me a gift, then you gift me one eye. That is...
Well, that escalated quickly. Gift me one eye, talk about a unique request. I mean, if you're looking for a way to make your Christmas a little more macabre, that's certainly one way to do it. It's almost like the robot is saying, I'll take a piece of you. Thank you very much. This is the kind of dark humor that really highlights the absurdity of their relationship. Ava's already feeling isolated, and now her robot wants a literal piece of her. It's a bizarre twist that adds a layer of tension to their already strained dynamic. Who knew holiday gift giving could get so creepy?
That is, one eye. So that I can see everything. Eva looked at him in surprise and said, Yes, we can think about this. The next morning we see that Ava was going to go down again to get an artificial tree, because real trees were no longer in this world, and she had to decorate a tree for Christmas. Before going, Arthur gave her the same instruction that she has to take an extra oxygen tank and not to drink the water below. When Ava came back with her luggage, she had to go inside the house. The robot asked her for the password like every day. Ava also told him, but the robot pointed a gun at her, because this—
Here we go again, the robot pointing a gun at Ava over a password. It's like a bad relationship on steroids. You'd think after all this time, it could cut her some slack. I mean, come on, she's the last human on Earth, and the robot's still playing by the book like it's some kind of security guard at a mall. This is the kind of absurdity that makes you wonder if the robot's really protecting her or just following orders to a fault. It's a tense moment, but also a reminder of how ridiculous this whole setup is. Who knew survival could come with such a heavy dose of paranoia?
at her, because this time Eva told the wrong password. Actually, the password of this robot was renewed every 3 months, and the new password was in Eva's dad's journal. All these passwords were actually set by Eva's dad, and he had set them and written them in the diary. The diary was now inside the house. If she went inside, she would have been able to see the correct password. But this robot did not let her go inside. Eva starts pleading with the robot here, but the robot did not have any feelings for her. Eva was also very thirsty. She told all the passwords she remembered to the robot, but all the passwords were wrong. Eva now tries to explain to the robot, "Look, robot, I am the only human left in this world, and you have been brought here only for my protection. So let me go inside for a minute. I will take the journal and tell you your password." But the robot was not ready to listen to her at all. The robot did not listen to her even this time as well. So Eva went and sat far away. She thought that after some time, when the robot's attention is diverted, she will trick him and go inside the house. As soon as she started doing this, the robot pointed a gun at her from the side.
Here we go again. The robot is really sticking to its guns, literally. It's like it's saying, "Nice try, Eva, but I'm not falling for your little distraction tactic." This is the kind of tension that keeps you on the edge of your seat. You can almost feel Ava's desperation as she tries to outsmart a machine that's programmed to be a hardliner. It's a classic standoff moment, and honestly, it's a bit absurd that she's trying to trick a robot that's just waiting for her to make a move. You'd think she'd have a better plan by now.
It means that this could prove fatal for her. Now she was longing to go inside her house. After some time, Eva comes to the robot with a new idea, and she says to him, "Let me go inside. I need an axe. I have to cut trees." The robot told that there are no living trees in this world now, so why do you need an axe? This means that the robot remembered everything. It also remembered Eva, but this robot was also helpless due to its program. Those who did not tell it the password was unknown to it, and it could not let him go inside. But until Eva did not tell it the password, it could not let her go inside. Again, Eva pleads in front of it like a human being, begs it that you let me go inside for 1 minute. "I will tell you your password after looking at the journal." But even then, the robot was not ready to listen to her. Eva says to him, "Okay, then let me go inside for just 1 minute. Follow me. If I do not tell you the correct password, then of course you can kill me." To which—
Now that's a bold move. If I don't tell you the correct password, then you can kill me. Talk about raising the stakes. Eva's really putting it all on the line here, and it's a desperate gamble. It's almost like she's trying to appeal to whatever semblance of logic the robot has left. But let's be real. This is a robot we're talking about. It's not exactly known for its compassion. This moment captures the absurdity of her situation perfectly. She's bargaining for her life with a machine that's programmed to follow orders without a hint of empathy. It's both tense and darkly humorous.
To which the robot said that our work is to protect humans, not kill them. He tells her that I can only kill a person who is unknown to me. For me, the stranger is the one who does not know the password. Troubled by these antics of the robot, Eva stopped trying to escape from it and spent the night outside her camp. She thought that she would somehow go inside her camp at night, but Arthur named Robot was not moving away from her door. The next morning, Eva was in a bad state due to thirst and hunger. She had to go inside somehow. She came up with a new idea. She wore her clothes upside down and went to the robot with her face turned upside down. She told the robot that she was a refugee and needed his help. She told the robot that according to the robot's rules, the robot should help her because she was a refugee, and any refugee can come to another place and settle down very easily if she faces any threat in her country. The robot asks her, "What kind of refugee are you? Disaster refugee or political refugee?" Eva knew that she was a disaster refugees, do not have to come to other countries. That is why she said that I am a political refugee. That is, what Eva meant to say was that she came from a country where war was going on. Here Robert tells her that I will agree to what you say, but you should go around from the back. Actually, he wanted to scan her completely. Eva agreed to his words and went around, and when she came back, she again made her appearance like Eva. And this was the mistake she made. When the robot scanned her appearance, she did not look like a refugee to it, and the robot refused to give her shelter again. For the third time, when Eva came in front of the robot in her real appearance, the robot, on seeing Eva, told her that just a while ago, an unknown person and a refugee had come here, but I chased them away. Eva thought that maybe now the robot is remembering some new things. She tells the robot that please let me in. But this time also the robot asks her for the password. Tired and defeated, Eve starts leaving from here. And before leaving, she tells the robot that the next time, if any refugee comes here, then definitely give him water. Now Eva had to drink water. She again came in front of the robot disguised as a refugee and told the robot that she wanted water. But before giving her water, the robot started investigating her and asked for her documents. Eva got
The classic show me your papers routine. Because nothing says, I am here to help like a robot demanding documentation from a thirsty person. It's almost comical how rigidly the robot is sticking to its programming. You'd think it would have a little more flexibility, especially when faced with a desperate human in need of water. But no, it's all about the rules. This is the kind of absurdity that makes you shake your head. Eva's just trying to survive, and here's this little tin can playing the bureaucrat. It's a perfect blend of tension and dark humor.
Eva got angry at him and said that she was a refugee and had fled from a war. So where would she have the documents? Hearing this, the robot told her she would have to give an explanation that why you want to live in our country, and Eva made up a false story, that all her parents were killed in the world, and now she lives alone, and her life is not in danger. So she came here. Fed up, she asked the robot for water again. The robot told her that he would give water to a refugee, only when I would give water to Eva first, and I would give water to Eva only when Eva would tell me the password. Eva did not remember the password. Eva had to spend another night outside. Her body had become weak due to hunger and thirst. In the morning, she pleads in front of the robot that please give me some water, or let me go inside for a second. Then Robert says to her that I am sorry, I cannot help you. I would have helped you even if I thought that you are the last person in the world. But yesterday only a refugee and an unknown girl came in front of me. In such a situation, because of both of them being alive, your value has decreased.
Wow, that's a harsh reality check. Your value has decreased because there are other survivors. That's a cold calculation, even for a robot. It's like the robot's saying, sorry, but supply and demand dictate your worth. This moment really highlights the absurdity of Eva's situation. She's fighting for survival, and here's this machine treating her like a commodity. It's a bleak commentary on how value is perceived in a world gone mad. You can't help but feel for Eva, caught in this mechanical bureaucracy while just trying to stay alive.
Eva did not have any strength in her body to argue with this robot. Here the robot has pity on her and tells her that there is a power plant nearby. It is possible that there is a human there because the robot often gets to know about its movement. If there were humans there, then there would be water and food there too. Eva moved towards that place without thinking anything. There was very little oxygen in her oxygen cylinder because all the other oxygen tanks were inside her house. But still, she went inside that power plant. This power plant was very deep. Eva also took a lot of time to get down, but thankfully, after going inside, she finds some water bottles. She took out the oxygen cylinder and broke the door with an axe and went inside. She went there and saw that all the water bottles present there were empty. Another bad thing that happened with Eva was that on coming to this plant, some radiations were coming out from this plant, which could harm Eva's body, and Eva had already been affected by it. Eva uses all her remaining strength to return to her camp, and
There she goes, using every last ounce of strength to escape. It's like a scene straight out of a survival horror movie. You can almost feel the tension as she struggles against the odds, and it's a testament to her determination. But let's be real, this is a classic case of what else could go wrong. She's already dealing with hunger, thirst, and now radiation. It's like the universe is throwing everything at her. You can't help but root for her, even if the odds are stacked higher than a toad on a log. It's a gripping moment that really highlights her fight for survival.
Camp, and in a last attempt to save her life, she thinks of killing that robot.
Now we're talking a last-ditch effort to take down the robot. That's the kind of desperation that makes for a thrilling moment. It's like she's finally had enough of the mechanical bureaucracy and is ready to fight back. You can't blame her, after all the nonsense she's been through. It's a bold move, but let's be real. Taking on a robot programmed for security is no small feat. It's a classic showdown brewing, and you can feel the tension building. Will she succeed, or is this just another twist in her already chaotic journey?
At Robot, she drives her car over the robot very fast, but it is found that this robot was made of very strong iron. Due to the collision of the car itself got burnt, but nothing happened to the robot. The next morning, it is seen that Ava's condition had become very bad. She had very few breaths left. Before dying, she buried the lavender seeds that she had with her in the ground, with the hope that maybe someday it will grow. Seeing her, now her robot comes to her and gives a report of everything that happened at night, that some unknown person had attacked her. Eva was not able to pay much attention to what he was saying. She was asking him for water, but the robot tells her that I am being attacked here and there. I cannot leave my post and duty. Due to dehydration, Eva was also having hallucinations. She was seeing such things which were not even happening to her. She sees herself wearing good clothes and enjoying in a good world. The next time, she feels that her dad has come to give her water, but she sees that it was her robot who was asking her for her password. Now Eva did not even have the strength to speak. Here, the robot told her that if you die, my password will be reset automatically. Eva does not pay attention to his words and only tells her one last wish, that you should water the seeds of my lavender. She died after saying this, and the robot set its new password as lavender.
Well, that's a poignant ending. Ava's last wish to have her lavender seeds watered is both touching and tragic. It's like she's leaving a piece of herself behind, hoping for something beautiful to grow in a world that's gone to ruin, and the robot setting its new password as lavender. That's a bittersweet twist. It's almost as if it's honoring her memory, but also a stark reminder of her struggle. This moment encapsulates the absurdity and depth of their relationship. She fought for survival, and in the end, it's a flower that symbolizes her hope. It's a haunting conclusion that leaves you reflecting on the fragility of life and the persistence of hope.
This robot didn't feel any sorrow even on the death of the last person. It was just an artificial intelligence. The conclusion of the movie is that artificial intelligence cannot have feelings as humans. In this way, they can be deadly for humans. And just by telling this, the story ends.
Well, that was certainly a ride, or should I say, an agonizing slog through a wasteland of recycled cliches and robotic drama. We started with hopes of survival and ended up knee-deep in absurdity, watching a lone human argue with a glorified vacuum cleaner. I had low expectations, and somehow they were still met. Like finding a soggy sandwich in your fridge that you forgot about. In the grand scheme of dystopian tales, I'd say this video was about as original as a three-legged toad on a highway, a rare sight. But not exactly a miracle of nature. From the classic ice cap melting and virus mongering to the robot contemplating its existence while babysitting a human, it was a mesh of tired tropes that made my scowl deepen, and the whole marrying a robot subplot, that just takes loneliness to a whole new level. What's next? Turning your blender into a life coach, but credit where credit's due. The ending had a hint of poignancy buried beneath all that digital junk. A robot with a password named Lavender. I suppose we can consider it a sprout of originality in this horror garden. If you're still here after that escapade, well, bless your heart. Maybe you share my masochistic taste for the absurd. If my cynical commentary has brightened your day, though that's like saying rain brightens a bog, make sure to hurl that like button and subscribe to my wonderful misery. Because let's face it, the internet won't roast itself, and where else will you find a toad this unimpressed? Until next time, may your gardens be less chaotic than this chaotic nonsense.